Coach Michael Malone, who is going to be with us for the entire season.
I'm smelling new money. Both of y'all got contract extensions. Happy to be back.
We are happy to be here and happy to be here with all of you for the entire season alongside Bob Myers. He will be joining us as well, and our brothers at Inside the NBA. We're going to be getting you set for every single NBA game this season on our family of networks. We could not be more excited. So what do you gentlemen say? Let's just dive right into this matchup because it's defined the better part of the 2010s into this decade. LeBron might not be suiting up for the Lakers tonight, but when the game's all-time leading scorer steps onto the floor for the first time, he will be the first player in league history to play 23 seasons. And then Steph Curry, fresh off watching his Panthers get a comeback win, right? Steph, he will be lacing him up tonight, making this the unofficial start to his 17th season in the NBA. Now, after that, making that in-season trades on both sides, really. Luka Doncic last year, the newest Lakers, the newest Warrior stars, they have a full training camp with their squads for the first time to make sure that they can hit the ground running this season. Now, the Lakers and Warriors, they spent the summer fortifying their rotations. Golden State maybe spent more like the last week doing that, but you know. LA adding a former #1 overall pick, DeAndre Ayton, Defensive Player of the Year, Marcus Smart. While the Warriors, they added a little bit more championship pedigree to their locker room. They brought in Al Horford to bolster their front court here. And it's pretty amazing that these two, right, Steph Curry and LeBron James, they have played a combined 40 seasons now in the NBA, and yet still the expectation for both of these teams, it's championships. And I think I would put them maybe in that second tier in the Western Conference, second, third, depending on where you put OKC and everyone to follow. How do you look at the way these two teams, how their summers went here, Coach?
Well, they both made a lot of changes. I go to Golden State, Malika, because I think about Jimmy Butler and the impact he had last year.
Yeah.
He arrives 23-8 with him. And in that time, most importantly, they had the #1 defense in the NBA during that stretch. And they were able to play through Jimmy Butler when Steph was off the floor, and their free throw rate went through the roof. Obviously, you look at what the Lakers have done. They added DeAndre Ayton and Marcus Smart, as you mentioned. But can those guys be available? They have not been available the last couple of years on their respective teams. But I'm excited to see how Steve Kerr uses Jimmy Butler first training camp and the addition of Al Horford, which I think is going to be a really important addition for that squad.
The number I was up there for their training camp just a couple of days ago, and the number that everyone around the Golden State Warriors, Perk, is excited about is 23-8. That's their record when Steph, Draymond, and Jimmy were all on the floor together since Jimmy was traded to this team. Now, obviously, injuries derailed the rest of their seasons, and if ifs were fifths, we'd all be drunk. But when you're looking at the Golden State Warriors, they have a case to feel really good if they can stay healthy about their chances this year.
They do, but the 23-8 got them out in the second round. They're trying to win the championship. Now, mind you, Steph got injured. I get that part, but we don't know if they could have got past OKC with that roster that they had. And why give the Lakers the slight edge? Look, both of these teams are going to be here come April, right? Both of these teams are going to be in the postseason. I give the Lakers the slight edge because they have a third option offensively in Austin Reeves. We don't know who the third option is for the Golden State Warriors. Is that going to be offensively? Is that going to be Kuminga? Are they going to rely on Buddy Hield? That's the question. And so when I think about Jonathan Kuminga, I think his ceiling is high because Buddy Hield's one dimension, right, when it comes to his three-point shooting and his shot making. But Jonathan Kuminga could get buckets in so many ways. And so, Coach, I'm coming to you because I want to ask you, it's about Steve Kerr and Jonathan Kuminga repairing or getting that relationship on target. You dealt with a similar type of personality of Michael Porter Jr., right? Remember when y'all made your championship run? You benched him in the fourth quarter because certain player was playing well. How would you manage that situation if you were Steve Kerr in that locker room with Jonathan Kuminga?
Well, yeah, I think it's such a great point, Perk, and it comes down to communication. Steve's come out and said it. That communication is key. Him and Kuminga have a relationship, but they got to sit down in a room. And right now it's a battle between Steve Kerr saying, this is what we want, and then Kuminga saying, well, this is what I want. And that they have to find a way to marry that and merge that, because you look at what Jonathan Kuminga did in games 2, 3, 4, and 5 in that second series against Minnesota. Steph Curry got hurt. Kuminga became a focal point and showed out. They didn't win any of those games, but can he find a way to step up and be a part of this team off the bench? And most importantly, Steve said it. If he defends, he rebounds, and he runs, he's going to play.
Right.
If he does those things, he's going to have a greater chance to go out there and help impact. And I feel, as you mentioned with Michael Porter, I think Kuminga closes a lot of games because he's too young, too athletic, and too talented for them not to.
And you need that third option. Every team that didn't win a championship in the last, 5 years, Aaron Gordon was our third option. You know, last year, Chet Holmgren, you got to have that third option off.
And Jimmy Butler can take over a game with the best of them, right? We have certainly seen that. Kuminga, of course, he agreed to this 2-year deal with the Golden State Warriors, but all expectations are this is a contract that is very, very tradable. Everything, though, with the Golden State Warriors, it comes down to Steph Curry beginning his 17th season, miraculously, somehow, in the NBA. Hear my exclusive interview with him, and I asked the question everyone kind of wants the answer to. How long?
Since I was, 3 years old.
Curry from half court.
Everybody talks about the greatest shooter ever.
It's Curry for the record. It's good.
I'm comfortable saying that now. And now I can push it to a number that nobody can reach.
Bill Ram tough, you can see it in the greats. I'm the one they watch, you can see it in their face. If their hands get to moving, it's the time and the place.
The greatest shooter the game has ever seen.
Where has time gone? Year 17 for Steph Curry, and the 4-time champ, he's one ring away from joining really rare company, right? Only 5 players in NBA history. They've ever won at least 5 championships and 2 MVPs. Do y'all know the list? Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Russell, Magic Johnson, and Tim Duncan. But for Steph, it's not just about the accolades. It's about appreciating the process and how far he's come.
Hey, it's Steph Curry with the Warriors. Golden State. I was going to get it. I'm going to get it. I'm going to get it. Hey, it's Steph Curry with the Golden State Warriors. The journey continues.
Curry splits the defense. Curry is a master at that.
Curry sets, fires, puts it up. Bang! Steph Curry! Here's Curry for the record. It's good! There it is!
Steph, this is 2009. Your very first media day.
Yes.
This is now year 17 for you. Looking at that young Steph Curry, that 6 NBA Finals, 4 rings, would you tell him that that's enough, or is there still some story to be written?
No, there's definitely some story to be written, but that would have been a really cool message to give. 09 version. I'm just glad I got a jersey that fits now. Definitely some more to do.
Moves inside, got it!
Chasing your very first title and the urgency you felt to get that first one versus the urgency you feel now, knowing that Father Time is undefeated. Can you describe the difference?
That youthful, inexperience, but energy, you're a little naive a little bit to understand what it actually takes to get over the hump versus now with all of the experience and understanding what set yourself up for winning basketball come playoff time. We're relying on that expertise and IQ and knowledge now, to overcome Father Time. That know-how, it adds a little bit of anxiousness because you know what it takes. There's no secret.
When you look around this year, this locker room, and the Western Conference that you're up against, where are you on that continuum?
We have a legitimate shot. We can square up against anybody in the West, and we just want to have an opportunity to show that in the playoffs. But Jimmy has another dynamic that we didn't even have back then, so I'm excited to kind of see it all the way through.
You told me that there's no shame in acknowledging that the end is near.
The undisputed author of the three-point record book.
The greatest shooter the game has ever seen.
Do you know when that end is going to be?
No clue. I just know it's closer than it was even yesterday. It's just a matter of acknowledging it's fun because the more I talk about it, the more you appreciate what all goes into preparing yourself. But all that stuff is just the privilege that you've earned. But I'm trying not to put any timestamps or anything other than just sense of urgency on the now.
So Steph is the all-time leader in three-pointers. He has scored over 25,000 points in his career, and he's already penned the resume that makes him the greatest Warrior of all time. He's the team's all-time leader in points, assists, threes, and steals. And Coach, I imagine that the night before you had to coach against Steph Curry, those weren't your most restful evenings,
No
right? No sleep. That was team no sleep, right? But the one deficiency for Golden State, even in their championship dynasty years, it was always kind of their big man. Draymond Green, he revolutionized basketball,